Good evening, 574 Theater family and friends. Happy Sunday. Welcome to House Party. This is episode 10 for us. How awesome it is to have done this 10 times now. We're really pumped tonight. This is our first live performance of a script on House Party. We'll be performing It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play. Most of our cast from the 2019 production is back and ready to perform for you this evening and get some Christmas spirit. You can see my studio has been Christmas-fied. Here I broke out some of my grandmother's Christmas decorations. So thank you to her for having them in the basement so I can use. A couple of announcements I want to get real quick. Our next episode, Tuesday at 8 p.m., is the return of John Baines. He was on our show a couple weeks ago, and we had a ton of fun. Really excited for this episode. Don't know what we're going to do yet. I have no clue. It's been rumored we're going to put a bunch of songs into a cup and draw them out randomly, and he'll have to sing them. We'll see. Tune in for it. It's going to be a good time. Thursday, we have friends from South Bend Civic Theater joining us. I'm thrilled about that. We're going to be raising funds for South Bend Civic and all of the amazing things they're doing in our community and for our community. So stay tuned to that. That's going to be Thursday at 8 p.m. And then next Sunday, we're going to be having our friends from our very first show, the 25th Annual Putnam County Spelling Bee, joining us for that would be episode 13 of House Party. So really excited for that revival, ready to go. May 8th, we're starting our Plays at Home series. This is going to be a virtual new play festival. We're featuring new plays from local playwrights and using a lot of local actors from Indiana and kind of the greater Midwest region. Pumped for this. It's going to be a good time. I'm excited to showcase work from new playwrights, and especially local ones. And I think this is the perfect time to be doing that. So stay tuned for that. Mark it on your calendar. As I said, tonight we're doing our first live reading of a performance. Really pumped about it and very nervous. Technology can be troubling at sometimes, especially live streaming with everybody's Wi-Fi and different things. So if you're watching and somebody happens to have to leave for a second, we're just going to be cool about it. We're going to ask the cast some questions. If you have questions for the cast about the process back in December or about the show or about the roles they play, shoot it in the comment section. We'll answer it then. But hopefully nothing goes wrong. Fingers crossed. Knock on wood, but it is live performance, so who knows what can happen. A little bit about the performance before we bring on our actors. Back in December, we performed this at Bethel University. It's the show we know and love. It's a Wonderful Life, and it's the same story, but it's written to be a radio play produced in the 1940s. So when it was on stage, there was a full Foley sound effect table that made different noises. We actually broadcasted live on the radio one performance. So what it is, it's actors playing the parts. It's our actors playing the actors of the radio play who then play the parts of It's a Wonderful Life. So a little meta there for you on a Sunday evening. That's kind of the premise of the show. Here, we don't have Foley sound effects because we are live streaming and there's really no way to do that. And we also have a new actor in a role. Nick is filling in for Ethan, who couldn't join us. And Nick did very excellent in our rehearsal the other day. We've had one rehearsal since December. So cut everybody some slack, especially Ethan, because he's trash. Just kidding. Ethan's wonderful. We love him. Sorry, Ethan. I had to put it in there. Anyway, let's bring on some actors, shall we? We'll start off with Ethan, who we've all seen on here before. Let's bring on Ethan. Ethan, hello, sir.
Hello.
Since I insulted you, I thought we'd bring you on first. Welcome back.
Yeah, that's how it normally goes. Thanks. Glad to be back. I got my Happy Birthday Jesus shirt, my sweater, and my coat.
There you go. We all coordinated Christmas outfits today. Let's next bring on Morgan. Hello, Morgan.
Hi.
Morgan, where are you joining us from?
I'm joining you from Geneva, Illinois.
Wherever that is. Welcome to the show. Let's bring on Rebecca next. Rebecca.
Hi, guys.
Hi, Rebecca. Where are you quarantined at?
Mishawaka, Indiana.
In her brand new apartment.
Yeah. Yay.
Let's bring on Mr. Joshua next. Hello, Josh.
Hey, guys.
How's it going, Josh?
It's going good. I'm ready to read a play.
Yeah, aren't we all? All right, and last but not least, Olaf/Jazzbo/Nick. Nick, welcome back.
Hi, friends.
Nick's been on a lot of episodes recently. Nick, you're getting a lot of screen time. Well, everybody, welcome. This is our cast for this evening's performance of It's a Wonderful Life. As I said, we're missing one original member, Ethan Babler, who couldn't join us tonight. He played roles that Nick will be reading this evening. A couple other shout outs I want to give to Sydney Sprunger, who is our stage manager for the production, who helped tremendously. Also Leah Jordan, who is our props manager and accompanist for the show. We had a gorgeous piano score that underscored the performance, and Leah was crucial in that, so thank you very much to those two. I think we're ready to get started. Is there anything? Oh, I remember. I always forget this part, and you think I would remember by episode 10. We are raising funds for 574 Theater Artists for this summer, and it's even scrolling at the bottom of the screen. You think I would forget. We encourage you to donate to 574 Theater and our mission of compensating artists and providing professional theater entertainment for the Michiana area. I can say we have broke our $900 goal that we set for our last episode. At the end of our episode, Joe Knopfsiger donated, and we broke that $900 mark. So that's really awesome. Let's try to get it up to $1,000 today. Wouldn't that be incredible if we can hit $1,000 on episode 10, celebrating Christmas in April? Wouldn't that be awesome?
It's a Christmas in April miracle.
Yeah. It's funny because we were closer to Easter than we are Christmas, so I love it. So we have a lot of Christmas spirit in the house. People say Merry Christmas to all, and to all a happy spring evening. Leah says, what a jacket from Ethan. We got some emoji game going. So share your Christmas spirit in the comment section as we get going here. Again, if you have questions for any of these actors about the process, about the show, about the roles they play, shoot it in the comment section and we'll answer them at some point during the show. Just so everybody knows, when our actors are off stage or not in the scene, their cameras and mics will be off. And when they're entering the scene, they'll turn those on. So that's kind of how we're doing stage direction this evening. So without further ado, we'll call places for our actors. Actors, if you want to head to your places.
Thank you, places.
Again, we hope that we don't have any technology snafus. It's possible. Please bear with us as we get through this for our first time. Everybody, I hope you enjoy our first performance on House Party. It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a live broadcast of WBFR Playhouse of the Air. We thank you for braving the weather this Christmas Eve, and you'll be glad you did when you hear the story we have for you tonight. It's a Wonderful Life. Thank you, thank you. Now remember, this evening's program is being broadcast live from coast to coast, and our listeners are counting on your reactions as part of their listening pleasure. So don't be shy, and feel free to applaud, laugh, swoon, or cry just as loudly as the spirit moves. I'm getting the signal from our stage manager that we'll be going live on the air in just less than 3 minutes, which allows me just enough time to introduce you to the fine acting ensemble who'll be performing this evening's entertainment. You know him from Chick Carter, Boy Detective, and Cowpoke Romance, playing George Bailey, the hero of tonight's story, Mr. Jake Lawrence. Having just returned from Los Angeles, having completed filming Dottie Goes Bananas, a Technicolor spectacle as his leading lady, Mary Hatch, we bring you Miss Ohio 1943, Miss Sally Applewhite. WBFR Playhouse of the Air listeners may have heard our next little lady in roles ranging from Mother Cabrini to Salome, and playing small-town siren Violet Bick and others in this evening's story, I give you Miss Lana Sherwood. Soon to be co-starring with Margaret Dumont in Paramount Pictures' new comedy, The Hick Chick, and playing Clarence the Angel and others in this evening's show, here's Mr. Harry Jazzball Hayward. And finally, host of Females Are Fabulous, and here with you every week on Playhouse of the Air, I'm Freddie Fillmore. I'm getting a signal from our stage manager that we'll be on the air in 20 seconds. Thank you all for coming this evening, and please, enjoy the broadcast. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls, young and old and new. Greetings from WBFR Studio A in Manhattan, New York, right here in the US of A. I'm your host, Freddie Fillmore, and it is my pleasure to bring you your favorite stories this and every week on WBFR Playhouse of the Air. Tonight, we bring you a real feel-good heartwarmer, perfect for this or any Christmas Eve. It's a Wonderful Life. We begin our story in the little town of Bedford Falls, New York, US of A, where a number of people in the town are praying for their dear friend, a typical American dreamer named George Bailey.
Dear God, please help my husband, George.
George is a good boy, you know that. My son has always gone out of his way to give others a hand. Now it's him who needs the help.
Help my big brother, George. He's done so much for all of us. More.
I remember all the times he would stay late after work and not ask a cent. The world needs more like George Bailey.
George Bailey never thinks about himself. I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for him.
If it wasn't for him, I would have given up long ago. All I think about is myself. I must have taken the last cent he had.
No sense of business, that George Bailey. Just like his father. None of the Baileys were ever businessmen. It's his own fault if he wasn't prepared for times like these. I can't help but think it's all my fault. Help him, Father. It's me who's putting him through all this. Something's the matter with Daddy.
Should we pray for him, Mommy?
Yes, Zuzu, pray. Pray very hard.
The voices carry heavenward, and Joseph, the superintendent of angels, summons Clarence, an apprentice angel.
You sent for me, sir?
Yes, Clarence. A man down on Earth needs our help.
Oh, splendid. Is he sick?
No, worse. He's discouraged. At exactly 10:45 p.m. tonight, Earth time, that man will be thinking seriously of throwing away God's greatest gift.
Oh, dear, his life? Then I've only an hour to dress. What are they wearing now?
You will spend that hour getting acquainted with George Bailey.
Sir, if I should accomplish this mission, might I perhaps win my wings? I've been waiting over 200 years now, and people are beginning to talk.
What's that book you've got there?
The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. I was reading it when you sent for me.
Oh, fine book. Excellent. Well, you do a good job with George Bailey, and we'll see about your wings.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, if you're going to help George, you'll want to know a little something about him. Look, see the town?
Why, yes, a group of young boys sledding down a snow-covered hill and onto the ice. This is amazing.
Yippee!
Who's that?
That's your problem, George Bailey.
A boy?
That's him when he was 12, back in 1919. Something happens here you'll have to remember later on.
And here comes the scare baby, my kid brother, Harry Bailey.
I'm not scared.
Come on, Harry. Come on.
Harry.
Do it, Harry. Oh, help! Help!
Oh dear, Harry's fallen through the ice.
I'm coming, Harry. Make a chain, gang, a chain.
So, his brother fell through the ice, but George saved him.
Yes, Clarence. And ever since then, George has had a bad ear. All that icy water, you understand.
Bad ear. Yes, sir.
The other event came a few months later. George took an after-school job at Old Man Gower's drugstore.
It's me, Mr. Gower, George Bailey.
You're late.
Yes, sir.
Hello, George. Hello, Mary.
Hello, Violet.
2 cents worth of shoelaces, Violet?
Mary was here first.
Oh, I'm still thinking.
Shoelaces?
Please, Georgie. I like him.
Oh, you like every boy.
What's wrong with that?
Here you are.
Bye, Georgie. See you later, Mary.
Made up your mind yet, Mary?
I'll take chocolate.
With coconuts?
Oh, I don't like coconut.
You don't like coconuts? Say, Brainless, don't you know where coconuts come from? Well, look at here. From Tahiti, the Fiji Islands, the Coral Sea.
Well, what's that? Oh, a new magazine. I never saw it before.
Of course you never. Only us explorers can get it. I've been nominated for membership in the National Geographic Society. Let me get your ice cream.
Is this the ear you can't hear on? Oh, George Bailey, I'll love you till the day I die.
I'm going out exploring someday. You watch. And then I'm going to have a couple of harems, maybe 3 or 4 wives. Just wait and see.
George! George!
Yes, sir.
You're not paid to be a canary.
Yes, sir.
Goodbye, George.
Goodbye, Mary.
What was that piece of paper George just picked up?
It's a telegram for Mr. Gower. He found out this morning that his son died of influenza.
Oh, awful.
Yes, and he spent the afternoon drowning his sorrows in whiskey.
Mr. Gower, do you want something? Anything?
No.
Is there anything I could do back here?
No.
Oh, I'll get him, sir. Hey, what's this bottle, Mr. Gower?
Never mind that. Take those capsules over to Mrs. Blaine.
Yes, sir. Well, they have diphtheria there, haven't they, sir?
Well,
it's a charge, sir?
yes. Charge.
Mr. Gower, I think...
Get going!
Yes, sir, but Mr. Gower, I think...
What is it?
Well, Mr. Gower, the bottle you used, you put something wrong in those capsules.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Oh, you're hurting my sore ear.
Did you hear what I said? Get out of here!
Mr. Gower, but you don't know what you're doing. You put something wrong in those capsules. I know you're unhappy. You got that telegram and you're upset. But it wasn't your fault, Mr. Gower. Look, this bottle you used. This bottle to make the capsules, it's poison.
Poison?
Please don't hit my sore ear again.
Poison? Oh, George! George!
All I wanted was to make sure, Mr. Gower. I won't tell anyone. I know what you're feeling. And I won't ever tell a soul. Hope to die I won't.
Oh, George.
Did he ever tell anyone about those pills?
Not a soul.
Did he ever marry the girl? Did he ever go exploring?
We'll get there soon enough, Clarence. When George Bailey grew up, he wanted to go to college, but there just wasn't the money. So he worked 4 years in the Building and Loan Association.
Building and Loan Association?
George's father was in the building and loan business, along with George's uncle, Billy. George, what's the combination to the safe?
We wrote it down so you wouldn't forget.
That's right. Where?
Your wallet, Uncle Billy.
Thanks. Lovable fellow, just forgetful is all.
And who's that?
That's Henry F. Potter, the richest and meanest man in all the county. Peter, Potter's here. Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey, Mr. Bailey. There's nothing quite so loathsome as a family business. Now, Peter, you know what I'm here for. I'm on a very tight schedule, a family to evict at 3. Okay then, Mr. Potter, here's the thing. I just need a little more time, just 30 short days. I'll dig up that 5,000 somehow. Have you put any real pressure on those people of yours to pay their mortgages? Times are hard, Mr. Potter. A lot of people are out of work. Then foreclose. I can't do that. These families have children. They're not my children, but they're somebody's children, Mr. Potter. Are you running a business or a charity ward? Well, all right. Not with my money! Mr. Potter, what makes you such a hard-skulled character? You have no family, no children. You can't begin to spend all the money you've got. So I suppose I should give it to miserable failures like you and that idiot brother of yours to spend.
He's not a failure. You can't say that about my father.
George.
No, you're not. You're the biggest man in town.
All right, son, thanks. I'll talk to you tonight.
Well, don't let him say that about you, Pop.
Tonight! What kind of business are you running here? Good God, man! George worked for his father, saving enough to see him through the university. That summer, though he was going to Europe, George got a job on a cattle boat and was ready to do a little traveling before college. Old man Gower surprised him with a gift of a great big suitcase. On his way home from the store, he ran into his friends Ernie, the cab driver, and Bert, the cop.
Hey, Ernie.
Hiya, George!
Hi, Bert.
Hey, George. What's the suitcase for?
Oh, well, I'm a rich tourist today. Well, how about driving me home in style?
Sure, Your Highness. Hop in the cab, and for the carriage trade, I puts on my hat.
Good afternoon, Mr. Bailey. Looks like you're ready to get out of here.
Hello, Violet. Hey, you look good. That's some dress you got on there.
Oh, this old thing? Why, I only wear it when I don't care how I look. See you later.
How would you like,
Yeah.
Want to come along, Bert? We'll show you the town.
No, thanks. Think I'll go home and see what the wife's doing.
Family man. George saved up money to go away to college. His bags were packed, and he was all set to go.
Oh, boy, oh, boy, oh, boy. It's hard to realize it's the last night in the Bailey boarding house.
We're sure going to miss you, George.
I'm gonna miss you too, Pop. What's the matter? You look tired.
Oh, I had another tussle with old Henry Potter today. I thought when we put him on the board of directors, he'd ease up on us.
I wonder what's eating that old money-grubbing buzzard anyway.
Oh, he's a sick man, frustrated and sick. Sick in his mind, sick in his soul, if he has one. Hates everybody that has anything he can't have. Hates us mostly, I guess.
Hey, George, can I borrow your tuxedo studs?
Oh, yeah, help yourself, Harry.
Well, where are they? In your suitcase?
Well, I'm not taking a tuxedo on a cattle boat, you know.
Say, where'd you get that fine piece of luggage anyway?
Oh, Mr. Gower, a going away present. And one of these days, you're going to see this bag covered all with travel labels. Italy, Baghdad.
Hey, why don't you come to the dance tonight?
What, and be bored to death?
Well, you couldn't want a better death. Lots of pretty girls.
No.
Hey, I've got to hurry.
I wish we could send Harry to college with you, George.
Yeah, well, we have that all figured out. You see, Harry will take my job at the building and loan, work there for 4 years, and then he'll go.
He's pretty young for that job.
No younger than I was.
You were born older, George. I suppose you've decided what you're going to do when you get out of college?
Oh, well, you know what I've always talked about. Building things, design new buildings, plan a modern city.
Still after that first million before you're 30?
No, I'll settle for half that in cash.
Of course. It's just a hope, but you wouldn't consider coming back to the building and loan, would you? I know it's early to talk about it.
I couldn't face being cooped up for the rest of my life in that shabby little office. I didn't mean that remark, Pop. It's just this business of nickels and dimes and spending all your life trying to figure out how to save 3 cents on the length of a pipe. I go crazy. I want to do something big, something important.
You know, George, I feel that in a small way we are doing something important, satisfying a fundamental urge. It's not too much for a man to want his own roof and walls and fireplace, and we're helping him get those things in our shabby little office.
I know, Dad. I wish I felt the same, but you know, I've been hoarding pennies like a miser in order to... Well, now most of my friends have already finished college. I feel like if I don't get away, I'll just bust.
Yes, you're right, boy. This town's no place to live if you aren't willing to crawl to Potter. You get yourself an education, then get out of here.
I'm glad you see what I'm talking about. Say, I think I'm going to go down on the town. Last night on Main Street and all.
Have a good time, son.
Who's that?
Why, that's Violet Bick.
The little girl from the candy counter?
That's right.
Hello, Georgie Porgy.
Hello, Vi.
What gives?
Nothing.
Where are you going?
Oh, I'll probably end up at the library.
Oh, Georgie, don't you ever get tired of just reading about things?
Yeah. What are you up to tonight?
Not a thing.
Are you game, Vi? What do you say we make a night of it?
Oh, I'd love it, Georgie. What'll we do?
Well, let's go out in the fields and take off our shoes and we'll walk around in the grass.
Huh?
Then we can go up to Stewart Lake. It's beautiful up there in the moonlight and we could swim. And then we can climb Mount Bedford and smell the pines, watch the sunrise against the peaks. Oh, we'll stay up there the whole night. Everybody in town will be talking about it. There's a terrific scandal.
George, have you gone crazy? Walk in the grass in my bare feet? What? Why, it's 10 miles up there to Mount Bedford. You think just because you...
Well, we'll just forget it all then.
Forget about what, George?
Nothing, Sam.
You remember Mary, don't you?
Hi, George.
Hi, Mary.
Say, you wouldn't mind walking Mary home, would you, George?
Of course not. Is that all right with you, Mary?
Well, it's fine by me.
Great. Thanks. So, George walked Mary home? Is that important, Joseph?
I'd say it is, because even though Mary lived only 4 blocks away, it took them 2 hours to get there.
Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight?
Come out tonight
Come out tonight. Buffalo gals, won't you come out tonight?
and dance by the light of the moon.
Oh, God. Oh, he sounds just like an organ.
It's beautiful.
You know something? If it wasn't me talking, I'd say you were the prettiest girl in town.
Well, why don't you say it?
I don't know. Maybe I will. How old are you anyway?
18?
18?
Well, too young or too old?
Oh, no. Just right. Your age fits you. Hey, look where we are.
Oh, the old Granville house.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to throw a rock.
Oh, no, don't. I love that old house.
No, don't you know about deserted houses? You make a wish and then you throw a rock.
But, George, it's such a lovely old place. I wish I lived there.
In there? I wouldn't live in there if I was a ghost. Now, watch this. Watch this. Huh. How about it, huh? Pretty good shot. Broke a window.
What's your wish, George?
Oh, not just one wish. A whole hatful, Mary. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy little town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. Italy, Greece, the Parthenon, the Colosseum. And then I'm coming back here, and I'm going to college. Then I'll see what they know. And then I'm going to build things. Well, I'm going to build airfields. I'll build skyscrapers 100 stories high. I'm going to build bridges a mile long. And, well, now what are you going to do? Throw a rock too?
Oh,
Oh, that's pretty good. Now, what'd you wish for, Mary?
oh no, if I tell you, it might not come true.
Hey, come on, Mary. What do you want, huh? You want the moon? All you got to do is say the word now.
Okay, the moon, I'll take it. And then what?
Well, then what? Well, then I'll throw a lasso around it and pull it down. And then you could swallow it, and it all dissolves, see? And then moonbeams would shoot out your fingers and toes and the ends of your hair and... What, am I talking too much?
Yeah, why don't you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
Who's that?
Old man Collins on his front porch.
Youth is wasted on the wrong people. Ugh.
Hey, hold on. Hey, mister, come back out here. Oh, I'll show you some kissing that'll put hair back on your head. You come back out here and...
George!
Uncle Billy.
George, get in the car quick. Your father's had a stroke.
I'm sorry, Mary. I've got to go.
George's father died that night, Clarence. So, of course, George couldn't go to Europe. But that fall, just as he was ready to leave for college, the directors of the building and loan held a meeting. They were going to appoint a successor.
With Peter Bailey's...
It's just a very odd situation here. I don't know.
I
quite what to
want
do.
the board to know that George gave up his trip to Europe to help straighten things out here these past few months, and it was greatly appreciated. I think that's all we'll need you for, George. Good luck to you at school. I know you're anxious to make a train.
Yes, I've a taxi waiting downstairs.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get to my real purpose. I claim this institution is not necessary to this town. Therefore, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to dissolve the building and loan and turn its assets and liabilities over to the receiver.
Dissolve the building. That's quite drastic. I believe that's...
It's too soon after Peter Bailey's death to discuss chloroforming the building and loan. It was his faith and devotion that are responsible for this organization.
I'll go further than that. I'll say to the public Peter Bailey was the building and loan. Oh, that's fine, Potter, coming from you. Considering you probably drove him to his grave. Peter Bailey was not a businessman. That's what killed him. I don't mean any disrespect to him. God rest his soul. He was a man of high ideals, so-called. But ideals without common sense can ruin this town. What does that get us? A discontented, lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. And all because a few starry-eyed dreamers like Peter Bailey stir them up and fill their heads with a lot of impossible hooey. Now I say that...
Now hold on, Mr. Potter. You're right when you say my father was no businessman. I know that. Why ever started this cheap penny ante building and loan, I'll never know. But neither you nor anyone else can say anything against his character. Because his whole life, well, why in the 25 years since he and Uncle Billy started this thing, he never once thought of himself. Isn't that right, Uncle Billy?
You got that right.
He didn't even save enough money to send Harry to school, let alone me. But he did help a few people get out of your slums, Mr. Potter. And what's wrong with that? Why, well, now you're all businessmen here. Doesn't it make them better citizens? Doesn't it make them better customers? Well, you said yourself. Now, what did you say a minute ago? Oh, they had to wait and save their money before they even ought to think of buying a decent home. Wait? Wait for what? Until they're so old and broken down? Until their children grow up and leave them? Do you even know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? Just remember this, Potter. This rabble that you're talking about. They do most of the working and paying and living and dying in this community. Well, is it too much to have them work and pay and live and die in a couple of decent rooms and a bath? My father didn't think so. People were human beings to him. But to you, a warped, frustrated old man, they're cattle. Well, in my book, he died a much richer man than you'll ever be.
I'm not interested in your book. I'm talking about the building and loan.
I know very well what you're talking about. You're talking about something you can't get your fingers on. And it's galling at you. That's what you're talking about. Well, I've said too much. You're the board here. You do what you want with this thing. Just one more, though. This town needs this measly one-horse institution, if only to have some place where people can come without crawling to Potter. Come on, Uncle Billy.
Sentimental hogwash! I want my motion!
They're just coming out of the board meeting. I'll have to call you back. What happened, George? All we heard was a lot of yelling.
Boy, oh boy, Matilda, you should have heard George.
Yeah, they're voting us down in there.
George, get out of here. You missed your boat trip. Do you want to miss college, too? Don't worry about the board. They're putting us out of business. So what? I can get another job. I'm only 55.
You're 58.
Oh.
George, they voted Potter down. We're still in business.
Whoopee! We're still in business! We're still in business!
There's one condition, George. They've appointed you to take your father's place.
Appoint me? But I'm going to college. Well, Uncle Billy here, he's your man.
You can keep him on. That's all right.
Now let's get this thing straight. I'm leaving, and I'm leaving right now. Well, I'm going to school. This is my last chance.
But, George, you've got to take it. They'll vote with Potter otherwise. So, George Bailey didn't go to college?
That's right, Clarence. He gave his college money to his brother Harry, and Harry went instead.
But what happened to that good-looking girl? You know, Mary.
Oh, George saw her now and then. Not very often, though, because Mary went away for school, too. Anyway, George waited 4 years more for Harry to come back and take over the building and loan. Then he could still see the world. He planned to work in the oil fields of Venezuela.
There she blows! Say, Uncle Billy, you know what the 3 most wonderful sounds on earth are?
Breakfast is served, lunch is served, dinner is served.
No, no, no. Anchor chains, plane motors, and train whistles. Oh, look, here's the professor now.
Well, if it isn't George, Geographic Explorer Bailey. Uncle Billy, you haven't changed a bit.
Nobody ever changes around here. You know that.
Am I glad to see you?
Say, where's Mother?
Oh, she's at home cooking the fatted calf. Come on, let's go.
Oh, wait. This is Ruth Dakin.
Ruth Dakin Bailey, if you don't mind.
Huh?
Well, I wired you I had a surprise. Here she is. Meet the wife.
Well, what do you know? Wife.
How do you do? What am I doing? Congratulations, congratulations. Well, Harry, why don't you tell somebody? Now, what's a pretty girl like you doing marrying this two-headed brother of mine?
Well, I'll tell you, it's purely mercenary. My father offered him a job.
Oh, he gets you and a job? Harry's cup runneth over. Come on, Ruth. Let's go start ahead and leave the bags for the fellas.
All right.
George, about that job. Ruth spoke out of turn. I never said I'd take it. You've been holding the bag here for 4 years, and I won't let you down.
It's all right, Harry. It's all right.
And that night, the homecoming for Harry became his wedding party. Uncle Billy familiarized himself with the spirits. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I feel so good I could spit in Potter's eye. I think I will. What do you say? Maybe I should go home. If you just point me in the right direction.
Right down there, Uncle Billy.
That way, huh? Okay, old building and loan pal. See you later. Oh, I'm all right. I'm all right.
George.
Yeah, I'm out here on the porch, Ma. Just thought I would get some air.
Well, how do you like the new sister-in-law?
She's swell.
Looks like she'll keep Harry on his toes.
Yeah, keep him out of Bedford Falls anyway.
George, do you know that Mary Hatch is back from school?
Yeah.
Nice girl, Mary.
Uh-huh.
No, stop grumbling. Give me one good reason you shouldn't call on Mary.
Well, Sam Wainwright. Sam's crazy about her.
Well, she's not crazy about him.
Now, how do you know that? Did she discuss it with you?
Besides, Sam is away in New York, and you're here in Bedford Falls.
All's fair in love and war.
I don't know about war.
All right, Ma, I think I'll go out and find the girl. Maybe do a little passionate necking.
Oh, George.
Bye, Mrs. Bailey. By the way, you want any books from the library?
The library? George, you go and see Mary, you hear?
Hello, George.
Oh, hello, Mary. I just happened to be passing by.
Well, your mother just phoned and said you were on your way over to pay me a visit.
My mother called you. Well, now how did she know?
Well,
I didn't tell anyone. I just went for a walk and happened to be passing by. What do you... Well, I went for a walk, that's all. When did you get back?
Tuesday. Would you like to come in?
Well, I guess since I'm here. Say, where'd you get that dress?
Do you like it?
It's all right. I thought you were going to go back to New York with Sam and Francie and the rest of them.
Oh, well, I worked there a couple of vacations, but I don't know. I guess I was homesick.
Homesick for Bedford Falls?
Well, yes, and my family and... Oh, everything. Would you like to sit down?
For a minute. I still can't understand it, though. You know, I didn't tell anyone I was coming here.
Would you rather leave?
No. I don't want to be rude.
It was nice about Harry and Ruth, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was all right.
Don't you like her?
Well, of course I like her. She's a peach.
Oh, it's just marriage in general you're not enthusiastic about, huh?
No, marriage is all right for Harry and Sam Wainwright and you.
Mary, who's out there with you?
It's George Bailey, Mother.
George Bailey, what does he want?
Well, I don't know. What do you want, George?
Me? Not a thing. I just came in to get warm.
He's making violent love to me, Mother.
You tell him to go right back home. And don't you leave the house. Sam Wainwright promised to call from New York tonight, didn't he?
You know, your mother needn't. Well, you know, I didn't come here to.
Well, what did you come here for?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one with all the answers. You tell me.
Well, why don't you go home?
Oh, maybe I will.
Mary, the telephone. It's Sam.
I'll get it. Hee-haw, hello, Sam. How are you?
Oh, great. Gee, it's good to hear your voice again.
Oh, well, it's awful sweet of you, Sam. Hey, Sam, there's an old friend of yours here, a George Bailey.
You mean old Mossback George?
Yes, old Mossback George.
Hee-haw, put him on.
Wait a minute, I'll get him. George.
He doesn't want to speak to George, you idiot.
He does so. He asked for him. George, Sam wants to speak to you.
Hello, Sam.
Hey, a fine pal you are. What are you trying to do? Steal my girl?
Now, what do you mean? No one's trying to steal your girl.
No, wait a minute. I want to talk to both of you. Tell Mary to get on the extension.
Mother's on the extension.
I am not.
We can both hear you, George. Just put your head a little closer.
Oh, okay.
There, that's better. We're listening, Sam.
I have a big deal coming up that's going to make us all rich. George, you remember that night at Martini's bar when you told me about making plastics out of soybeans?
Oh, yes, yeah, soybeans, yeah.
Well, my father's checked into it, George. See, and now he's going to build a factory outside of Rochester. How do you like that?
Rochester? Well, why Rochester?
Well, why not? Can you think of anything better?
I don't know. Why not right here in Bedford Falls? Well, you remember that old tool and machinery works, right? Well, you tell your father he can get that for a song. All the labor he wants too. Half the town was thrown out of work when they closed down.
That's so? Well, I'll tell him. Hey, that sounds great. I knew you'd come through. Now, here's the point, George. I may have a job for you. That is, unless you're still married to the old broken down building and loan. Oh, Mary.
I'm here.
You tell that guy I'm giving him a chance of a lifetime, you hear?
He says it's the chance of a lifetime.
Give me that phone. Now, you listen to me, Mary. I don't want any plastics. I don't want any job. And I don't want to ever get married, ever, to anyone. You understand that? I want to do what I want to do. And you're, oh, Mary.
George.
Mary, I love you.
Oh, George, I love you too.
Hey, Josh. Josh, we can't hear you. You're still muted.
We will return to WBFR Playhouse of the Air's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life in just a few moments. But first, gentlemen, does your hair resemble a dried out bird's nest full of dandruff flakes? Do you plaster your hair down like a cheap gigolo smelling to high heaven?
You, what a stink.
When girls get a gander at the tip top of your noggin, do they go?
Ew.
Well, here's a friendly hint that may just help you out in the romance department.
Ah.
Starting tomorrow, why not try Bremel Hair Tonic? Yes, sirree, you'll be heading for success with Bremel Groomed Hair. A success with the gals and on the job. Bremel always keeps hair looking mighty attractive, always in place. A real sex appealer. Bremel Hair Tonic does lots more than keep your hair handsome looking. Buy some Bremel today. Your hair will thank you. And thank you all for listening tonight. WBFR Playhouse of the Air will return with It's a Wonderful Life after a brief intermission.
So it's intermission. Just like a normal show, we're trying to give you the full theatrical experience this evening. It is intermission. Our actors are just going to take about a 3 or 4 minute break. They're not going to take very long. They just need to get some water, go pee, watch some Netflix, tune in to the Sondheim birthday concert that's still not happening because they're having technical issues. It was supposed to happen at 8 p.m. and I think it's just now getting rolling. So that makes me feel good. We're doing better than the Sondheim special. Love that. I want to thank a couple people who donated. Chris Seymour and Teddy Price donated $25 each. We are $50 away from $1,000, people. If you're out there watching and you feel so led, please donate to 574 Theater and our artists for the summer. I'm trying to see if there's any actors available to come on to answer some questions. Ethan, are you available? Okay, Ethan's available. Hey, Ethan.
Hello.
Josh, are you available? You want to come on? Okay, I think that's a yes. Welcome. So, real quick, let's talk about this process because it's pretty different from a normal show. So, tell me how your thoughts were when you got to perform this on the stage and getting to perform in a radio play.
Well, I approached it more as it's difficult because in this medium, obviously, it's mostly voice acting. On the stage, not only was it voice acting, but it was Jake Lawrence. It was me playing Jake Lawrence, who was voice acting George Bailey. So approaching it, I did like 2 sets of book work. So there was one set that was the acting for Jake Lawrence, and then there was another set that was how would Jake Lawrence act George Bailey.
Yeah.
So it was, for me, I was lucky I only have one voice in the show.
Yeah.
So it was fairly close to the same voice I was using for Jake Lawrence.
Yeah.
So I had it a little bit easier, but our man Josh here has 1,000 voices in this show.
Tell me about that, how you go from voice to voice to voice in such a quick amount of time.
Well, it takes a lot of practice, first of all, and it's a lot of memorizing, like, where I'm putting my throat, because if you pull back on your throat, it starts to sound like this, and if you push it forward, it sounds more like this. So you got to remember where that is in your head, and also, it really helps if you have bodily cues when you're doing it. You may have noticed it already, but when I'm doing Potter, I tend to slouch down and do something like this. And when I'm doing Joseph, I straighten up my posture because I am important, right? And so remembering those kind of body language things, especially on a stage, they help you get to the right voice faster. Because like if I go down here, it's kind of almost automatic before I'm even thinking about it, right? And so that, a lot of warm-up practice. I did all of Dr. Seuss's Box and Socks and Box before coming on.
Nice.
So a lot of practice.
Yeah, nice. All right, well, let's see. It looks like all of our other actors are ready here. I'm going to pull everybody up on screen. We're going to see Morgan. Hi, Morgan. We got Nick, and we got Rebecca. Okay, is everybody ready for act?
Yep.
All right, let's go places for act 2 here, and we'll get the show on the road. All right, everybody ready? Josh, you ready, friend?
Good to go.
All right, take it away. This is Act 2 of It's a Wonderful Life, a live radio play.
And now, back to It's a Wonderful Life. George and Mary were married, and following the wedding and reception, George's old pal Ernie, the cab driver, drove the happy couple to the train station. Hey, where are you two going on here in a honeymoon?
Well, we're going to shoot the works, Ernie. A whole week in New York, a whole week in Bermuda, the highest hotels, the oldest champagne, the richest caviar, the hottest music, and the prettiest wife.
Here's the kitty, Ernie. $2,000. I feel like a bootlegger's wife.
So you're finally getting out of Bedford Falls, huh? Then what?
Oh, then what, honey?
After that, who cares?
Well, that does it. Hey, Mrs. Bailey, I haven't kissed you since.
Hey, George, there's something funny going on over there. Look over there at the bank. It looks like a run.
Huh? Well, pull over a minute, will you, Ernie?
George, let's not stop. Please, let's go straight to the station.
Now wait a minute. I better see what it is. I'll be right back.
But George, please. George!
What is this, Uncle Billy? A holiday? Why are the doors locked? There's a crowd out front.
This is a pickle, George.
All right. Now what happened?
All I know is the bank called our loan. I had to hand out all our cash.
All of it?
Every last cent of it.
Holy mackerel.
And then I got scared, George, and I closed the doors.
But our charter says we have to stay open until 6 o'clock or we lose our license.
Oh, Bailey Brothers building an... Get me George. George, it's Potter on the phone.
Hello?
George, there's a rumor around town that you've closed your doors. Is that true?
No, it isn't.
Do you need any police? Mobs get pretty ugly sometimes, you know.
We're fine.
We'll see. Now, George, I'm going all out to help in this crisis. I've just guaranteed the bank sufficient funds to meet their needs. They'll close for a week and then reopen. I may lose a fortune, but I'm willing to guarantee your people too. Just tell them to bring their shares over here and I'll pay them, 50 cents on the dollar.
You don't miss one trick, do you, Potter? Well, you're gonna miss this one.
If you close your doors before 6 p.m., you will never reopen.
You just took over the bank, Billy. Open the doors, let them in. Now, everyone, please remember, this isn't as black as it appears. Well, I have some news for you folks. I just talked to Old Man Potter, and he's guaranteed cash payments over at the bank.
How about our money, George? Where's our money?
No, please, wait a minute. Listen to me. You're thinking of this place all wrong. The money's not here. No, wait a minute. Let me tell you. Your money's in people's houses. In the Kennedy house, and the McLaren house, and well, in your house too. And 100 others. Now, what do you want me to do? Foreclose on them?
I got $242 in here, and $242 isn't going to break anybody.
All right, Charlie. You'll get your money in 60 days.
60 days?
Now, that's what you agreed to when you bought your shares.
I got my money. Old Man Potter's taking over the bank. He'll pay you 50 cents on every dollar.
Well, now, wait a minute. Please, folks, please don't leave. I'm begging you not to do this. If Potter gets a hold of your shares, he'll be owning this building and loan. And he's got the bank, and he's got the bus line, and he's got the department stores. And, well, now he's after us because he wants to keep you living in his shacks and paying the kind of rent he decides to charge. Now, we can get through this, all right, but we've got to stick together. We've got to have faith in each other.
My husband's out of work. We need money.
I got doctor bills to pay.
Can't feed my kids with faith.
Well, how much do you need? We've still got some money. We've got $2,000 from the wedding.
Hey, Mary. All right, well, I've got $2,000 here. This'll tide us over until the bank reopens. All right. Well, now, Charlie, how much do you need?
$242.
Charlie, just enough to tide you over till the bank reopens.
I'll take $242.
Okay, all right. Now, Uncle Billy, give Charlie $242. All right. Ed, now how much do you need just to get by?
$20, I suppose.
Now we're talking. Mrs. Thompson, how about you?
But it's your own money, George.
Never mind that. How much do you want, Mrs. Thompson?
Could I have $17.50?
Bless your heart. Of course you can have it. Uncle Billy, give her $17.50. Pay it back when you can now. Pay it back when you can. All right. Now who's next?
Look at the clock. Look.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 6 o'clock. I made it. Lock that door, Uncle Billy.
Right away.
We're still in business. Hey, I even got $2 left.
Bailey Brothers building in... just a minute. George, there's a call for you.
Look, will you get my wife on the phone? She's probably over at her mother's.
Mrs. Bailey is on the phone.
I don't want Mrs. Bailey. I want my wife. Oh, Mrs. Bailey, that is my wife. Hello, listen. Dear. I'm sorry, what? Come home? What home? 320 Sycamore. Well, now, whose home is that? The Waldorf Hotel, huh?
That doesn't look like the Waldorf.
Oh no, number 320 Sycamore was the old Granville house, the one George and Mary threw rocks at and made wishes. Mary had prepared the house, including a turkey dinner, romantic decorations, and even a marriage bed.
Welcome home, Mr. Bailey.
Well, I'll be.
Remember the night we broke the windows in this old house? Well, this is what I wished for.
Darling, you're wonderful.
Yes, sir. That's where they spent their honeymoon. That's where they started their lives together. Mary made the leaky old house a home, while George toiled away at the building and loan office, providing houses for people like Giuseppe Martini.
Hey, Martini, you renting a new house?
Did we lose everybody? What happened?
My phone cut out, and I couldn't hear Morgan or anyone.
Oh, okay.
Okay, somebody give us a line to start on.
Hey, Martini,
Sorry.
you renting a new
My
house?
phone went nuts.
No, that's okay. All right, where are we going from?
Shelton's line?
Everybody know where we're at?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
No, because I didn't hear anyone say a line.
Oh, you still can't hear anybody?
I can hear you,
Can you hear me?
and that's what I got. I'm gonna yeet
Okay.
myself out really quick.
Okay, Nick's gonna jump out really quick. I just want to
Sorry,
talk.
guys.
I want to talk about this Sondheim thing. It was supposed to start at 8 o'clock, and they still haven't got it working. Isn't that
They're
wrong?
waiting for us, Alex.
Maybe that's what it is. They're waiting for us to get done. Okay, so while we wait for Nick to get back in, it was actually
What's
really.
everyone's favorite
I was,
Sondheim
looking,
song?
I was looking at my Twitter feed because like Lin-Manuel Miranda is tweeting about it, and then all of a sudden there was silence. You guys were doing so well, and then it was just silence. I'm like, whoa. Wait a second.
It's a
Well,
dramatic.
I said my
pause.
line, and then Nick was on the screen, and he just goes, and like gets off.
All right. Can you hear us all again, Nick?
I can.
All right. Let's take it from whatever line y'all said, and let's go from there. Yay, live theater. We can
What
tell-
line are we going from?
From Shelt's line.
Cool.
Hey, Martini, you renting a new house?
Rent? You hear that, Mr. Bailey? I own this house. Me, Giuseppe Martini. I own my own house. Now, no more we live like pigs in Potter's Field.
We have something for you and your family, Mr. Martini. George and I bring something for all the new owners.
For the Martinis. Maria, come quick. Our first housewarming gifts. Bring the kids.
Bread, so that this house may never know hunger. Salt, that life may always have flavor.
And wine, that prosperity may reign forever. Enter the Martini Castle.
Bailey houses were popping up all over the place, mostly owned by people that used to live in Potter's Field, and Potter had had just about enough of that. So, after a couple of years, Old Man Potter decided to call our George into his office. Sit down, George, sit down. Have a cigar?
Thank you, sir. Quite a cigar, Mr. Potter.
You like it? I'll send you a box.
Well, now I suppose I'll find out sooner or later, but what exactly did you want to see me about?
George, now that's just what I like so much about you. George, I'm an old man, and most people hate me. But I don't like them either, so that makes it all even. You know just as well as I do that I run practically everything in this town but the Bailey Building and Loan. You know also that for a number of years I've been trying to get control of it, or kill it. But I haven't been able to do it. You have been stopping me. In fact, you have beaten me, George, and that takes some doing. Take during the Depression, for instance. You and I were the only ones that kept our heads. You saved the building and loan, and I saved all the rest.
Yeah, well, most people would say you stole all the rest.
The envious ones say that, George. The suckers. Now, let's look at your side. Young man, 27, 28, married, making, say, 40 a week?
45.
45.
45.
Now, if you were some ordinary yokel, I would say you are doing fine. But George Bailey is intelligent, ambitious. He hates the building and loan almost as much as I do. He's been dying to get out of town ever since he was born. A young man, the smartest one of the crowd, mind you, who has to sit by and watch his friends go places because he's trapped into frittering his life away playing nursemaid to a lot of garlic eaters. Do I paint a correct picture, George, or do I exaggerate?
What's your point, Potter?
My point is you're the only man in town who's licked me. I want to hire you. Manage my affairs. I'll start you out at $20,000 a year.
$20,000 a year?
You wouldn't mind living in the nicest house in town, buying your wife a lot of fine clothes, a couple of business trips to New York a year, maybe once in a while Europe? You wouldn't mind that, would you, George?
Would I? Well, now, you're not talking to somebody else around here, are you? Well, you're talking to me, George Bailey, the building and loan.
Yes, George Bailey, whose ship has just come in, provided he has brains enough to climb aboard.
What about the building and loan?
Oh, confound it, man! I'm offering you a 3-year contract at $20,000 a year. Is it a deal, or isn't it?
Mr. Potter, I know I ought to jump at the chance, but I wonder if you might give me 24 hours to think about it.
Sure. You go home and talk to your wife.
Yeah, I'd like that.
In the meantime, I'll draw up the papers, and soon you'll be managing my affairs.
Your affairs? No. The answer's no, doggone it. Well, you sit around here and you spin your little webs and you think the whole world revolves around you and your money. Well, it doesn't. And in the whole vast configuration of things, I'd say you are nothing but a scurvy little spider.
What did Mr. Potter want, George?
Nothing. It's just talk. It's nothing. Gee, Mary, why'd you marry a guy like me anyway? What have I given you? I was going to see the world. I was going to build things. I was going to give you the moon. And what have I given you? What have I given you? Not even a new dress. Not for months. You could have married Sam Wainwright, anybody else in the town.
Well, I didn't want to marry anybody else in town. I want my baby to look like you.
I didn't even give you a honeymoon. I promised you. You're what?
My baby.
I mean, Mary, you're on the nest?
George Bailey lassos stork.
Well, Mary had her baby, a boy.
You don't say.
Then she had a girl.
What do you know?
Night after night, George would come home late from the office. Things weren't good with the building and loan. Potter was really bearing down hard. Then came the war. Mary had another baby by then, but still had time to run the USO. Gower and Uncle Billy sold war bonds. Violet entertained the troops. Bert the cop was wounded in North Africa, got the Silver Star. Ernie, the taxi driver, parachuted into France, and Harry Bailey topped them all. A Navy flyer. He shot down 15 planes, 2 of them as they were about to crash into a transport full of soldiers.
Yes, but George, what about George?
George? 4F on account of his bad ear. George fought the Battle of Bedford Falls. Air raid warden, paper drives, scrap drives, rubber drives. On VE Day, he wept and prayed. VJ Day, he wept and prayed again.
We're getting pretty close to today, aren't we?
Yes, Clarence. You now know almost everything you have to know about George Bailey. Except what happened that finds him down there at this moment wanting to die.
Well, sir? Well?
Well, today's the day before Christmas, and Billy is at the bank to make a deposit when he ran into Old Man Potter. Well, Mr. Henry F. Potter. Come to the bank to deposit some more loot, huh? Sure, you old fool. How do you like the news in the paper, Mr. Potter? Harry Bailey wins Congressional Medal of Honor. Just can't keep those Bailey boys down now, can ya? Let me see that newspaper. Here you go. Sorry I can't chat, you old thief. Gotta make a deposit.
Good morning, Mr. Bailey.
Good morning, Horace. Here you are. Deposit slip, bank book, and a very Merry Christmas to you.
You too, Mr. Bailey. Say, you've forgotten something, haven't you?
Oh, what's that?
You want to make a deposit?
Certainly.
Well, it's customary to bring the money with you.
It's gone. Where'd I put it? Where'd I put that money? A terrible thing, Clarence. Terrible. Uncle Billy couldn't find the money because the envelope with the $8,000 was folded up in that newspaper he gave to Old Man Potter. At the same time as Billy started looking for the deposit, Violet came to visit George at the building and loan.
Oh, hello, Vi.
Suppose you're getting things set back at the house for the party tonight.
Well, you know you're invited. What's wrong?
You see right through me, don't you?
How much do you need?
I hate doing this to you, George, but I won't be asking for any more after this.
Oh, you plan on robbing a bank, Vi?
I'm going to Manhattan.
Well, now, what's in Manhattan?
Why, everything's in Manhattan. A new start, at least.
That's a big step, Vi. Well, now, what's the matter with starting a new life right here in Bedford Falls?
Well, I'll be. Never thought I'd hear that from you, George Bailey. I thought you hated this place.
I did. Well, the town has a certain charm of its own.
You should give tours, maybe.
I'm just thinking you, Violet. Manhattan's a big place to take on your own.
I've made a decision. There's a midnight train tonight, and I plan to be on it.
Takes a lot of character to leave your town and start all over again. Here's some dough.
No, George, don't.
No, listen, it's a loan. That's my business. Building and loan. Besides, you'll get a job. Good luck to you.
I'm glad I know you, George Bailey.
Say hello to New York for me.
Merry Christmas, George.
George!
Uncle, what's going on? The bank examiner's coming today, and
Today?
ready. Yes, he wants the accounts payable. Now, what's the matter with you?
The money. The 8,000.
What happened to it?
I don't know. I was going to deposit it, and when I went to the bank, I didn't have it.
$8,000, Uncle Billy. The bank examiner's in town. It's not our money. It belongs to the depositors.
I'm so sorry, George. I just don't know what happened.
Well, look in the first place. Look in your coat pocket. I told you to put it there when you left.
Oh, I'm no good to you, George. I'm no good.
Well, let's go then. We have to retrace your steps. We'll leave no stone unturned.
And as George and Billy went looking for the deposit, Potter had a meeting with the state bank examiner, a Miss Sadie Vance.
The whole town's turned upside down with the Bailey boys' homecoming. Congressional medal and all.
I guess they do things like that.
May I look at your paper?
Go ahead.
This is a deposit from Bailey.
That old fool Billy Bailey gave me that newspaper.
Well, you're going to deposit it for him, right? Potter.
To think he would make such a foolish mistake. Look at how much it is.
There's $8,000 here.
What a Christmas present, and he doesn't even know it.
Just a minute here, Potter. I know you've been giving the Baileys a hard time far back as I can remember. Why?
I don't have to give answers to you. You're just a state examiner.
Yes, I am. But I'm unimpressed by your buying off everyone in town. Oh, that's it. You could never buy the Baileys.
What?
You heard what I said. The Baileys have always stood for something you always wanted and are so jealous of. They're honest.
You're fired.
You can't fire me. I'm state appointed. And what's more, I'm not going to turn my back. This is stealing from the Baileys. Something like this would certainly cause them to fold.
Yes, and after 25 years. Finders keepers, you know that. He gave me the money. It was his own fault. Besides, there's not a court in the county that would convict me.
And we all know why.
How's your family, Sadie?
My family.
I know how little state positions pay. What would you say to a little Christmas bonus?
I want no part of this.
That's not what I've heard.
What are you insinuating, Potter?
I will not be turned down.
What do you want me to do?
I want you to pay the Baileys a surprise visit. You'll see the records. They'll be short. You know the rest. At last, the Baileys will be where they belong. Down for good.
I know just what to do.
And did you put the envelope in your pocket?
Yeah, maybe.
Uncle Billy, we've got to find that money.
I'm no good to you, George.
Do you have a secret hiding place here in the house somewhere?
I've gone over the whole house, even in rooms that have been locked ever since I lost your Aunt Laura.
Listen to me. Think.
I can't think anymore, George. It hurts.
Where's that money, you stupid, silly old fool? Do you realize what this means? It means bankruptcy and scandal and prison. One of us is going to jail. Well, it's not going to be me.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Daddy.
Hello, Daddy.
Daddy, did you bring the wreath?
What wreath?
Well, the Merry Christmas wreath for the window.
I left it at the office.
Is it snowing?
Yeah, just started.
Well, where's your coat and hat?
I left them at the office, too.
Well, what's the matter?
Nothing's the matter. Everything is all right.
Well, isn't it wonderful about Harry? We're famous, George. I'll bet I had 50 calls today about the parade, the banquet. Your mother's so excited that she couldn't stop.
Must she keep playing that piano?
I have to practice for the party tonight, Daddy.
Mommy says we can stay up all night and sing Christmas carols.
Can you sing, Daddy?
Well, better hurry and shave, George. The families will be here soon.
Families? I don't want any families over here.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Did you have a hectic day?
Yeah, just another big red letter day for the Baileys.
Daddy, the Browns next door have a new car. You should see it.
Oh, what's the matter with our car? Isn't it good enough for you?
Yes, Daddy.
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse you for what?
I burped.
All right, darling, you're excused. Now go upstairs and see what little Zuzu wants.
Well, what's the matter with Zuzu?
Oh, she caught a cold. Caught it coming home from school. They gave her a flower for a prize and she didn't want to crush it. So
what is it? A sore throat?
Oh, well, the doctor says it's nothing serious.
Was the doctor here?
I called him right away.
Hey, is she running a temperature?
Just a teensy one.
It's this old house. I don't know why we don't all have pneumonia in this drafty old barn. Might as well be living in a refrigerator. Why'd we have to live here in the first place? Stay around this measly, crummy old town.
George, what's wrong?
Everything. Everything is wrong. You call this a happy family? Why'd we have to have all these kids?
Dad, how do you spell frankincense?
I don't know. Ask your mother.
Where are you going?
I'm going up to see Zuzu.
Hi, Daddy.
Now, what happened to you?
I want a flower.
Hey, where do you think you're going?
Want to give my flower a drink.
Here, give Daddy the flower. I'll give it a drink.
Look, Daddy, some of the petals came off. Taste it.
All right. Now I'll paste this together. There. It's good as new.
Give the flower a drink.
Okay. Now, will you do something for me?
What?
Try to get some sleep.
I'm not sleepy. I want to look at my flower.
I know, but Well, you just go to sleep, and well, then you could dream about it. It'd be a whole garden.
It will?
Uh-huh.
Telephone!
I'll get it. Hello. Yes, this is Mrs. Bailey. Oh, well, thank you, Mrs. Welch. The doctor says she'll be out of bed in time for her Christmas dinner.
Is that Zuzu's teacher?
Yes.
Let me speak to her. Hello, Mrs. Welch? This is George Bailey. Say, what kind of teacher are you anyway? What do you mean sending her home like that half naked?
George.
Is this the sort of thing we pay taxes for? To have teachers like you? Silly, stupid, careless people who send our kids home without any clothes on? That's stupid.
Hello, Mrs. Welch. I want to apologize. Hello? Hello? She hung up.
I'll hang her up.
Now, who do you think you are?
Wait a minute. Hello, who is this? Oh, Mr. Welch. Okay, that's fine, Mr. Welch. Gives me a chance to tell you what I really think of your wife.
George.
Will you get out of here and let me handle this? Hello? Oh, you will, huh? Okay, Mr. Welch. Anytime you think you're man enough to... Hello?
Daddy, how do you spell hallelujah?
Dad, what do you think I am? A dictionary? Janie, haven't you learned that silly tune yet? You played it over and over again. Now stop it! Stop it!
George, what are you doing?
I'm sorry, Mary. Janie, I'm sorry. I didn't mean... Now you go on and practice now. Pete, I guess I owe you an apology too. I'm sorry. What did you want to know?
Nothing, Daddy.
Well, now what's the matter with everyone? Janie, go on. I told you to practice. Now go on and play.
Oh, Daddy.
George, why must you torture the children? Why don't you...
Mary.
Where's Daddy going?
Bedford 247, please.
Is Daddy in trouble?
Yes, Pete.
Shall I pray for him?
Yes, Janie, but very hard.
Me too?
You too, Tommy. Hello? Uncle Billy?
So that's it, George. You're short $8,000 in the books, eh?
Please, Mr. Potter, I'll pay any sort of interest if you even still want the building and loan.
You say it was lost. Did you notify the police?
No, sir, I haven't done that. Harry's homecoming's tomorrow. And...
Why did you come to me? What about your good friend Sam Wainwright?
I can't get a hold of him. He's in Europe.
What kind of security would I have, George? What collateral?
Oh, well, I have some life insurance, a $10,000 policy.
How much is your equity in it?
$500.
And you want 8,000? Look at you. You used to be so cocky. You were going to go out and conquer the world. You once called me a warped, frustrated old man. What are you but a warped, frustrated young man? Crawling in here on your hands and knees for help. No securities, no stocks, no bonds. You're worth more dead than you are alive. Why don't you go to the riffraff you love so much and ask them for help?
Please, I'll do anything, Mr. Potter. Please, please help my wife and kids.
You know what I'm going to do for you. As a stockholder of the building and loan, I'm calling a state examiner to get a warrant for your arrest. Misappropriation of funds, manipulation, malfeasance.
They'll arrest me.
Go on and run! You can't hide in a little town like this. Merry Christmas, George. And now, more from our sponsors. Are you guilty of careless driving because windshield bug spots dulled your vision?
Yes, I'm guilty.
Stop straining to see through a bug-spattered windshield. Duck's Toilet Cake gets the squashed bugs off quickly, easily. Yes, even when the sun has baked them in the glass.
Remember, you need clear vision as well as good brakes to avoid accidents. You'll find Duck's Toilet Cake leaves the glass polished so crystal clear, you'll hardly know it's there.
I feel so much safer after I clean my windshield with Duck's toilet cake. It leaves no dangerous oily film to pick up dust and make night driving difficult.
Duck's Toilet Cake, the soap of 100 uses. Buy a cask cake of Duck's toilet soap today. Keep it in your car. And now, the dramatic conclusion of It's a Wonderful Life.
Merry Christmas, glad you come.
Hey, how about some of that good spaghetti, huh?
We got everything. Where's George, sir? Where?
After running out of Potter's office, George ended up at Martini's bar. He's had a couple of drinks, Clarence. He's just sitting there.
What's he saying? Who is he?
God. God. Dear Father in heaven, I'm not a praying man, but if you're up there, you can hear me. Show me the way. At the end of my rope, God, please show me the way.
Are you all right, George? You want somebody to take you home?
Why you drink so much, my friend? You don't feel good? Please go home, Mr. Bailey. Bailey? You say Bailey? Which Bailey? This gentleman is Mr. Bailey. George Bailey. George Bailey, huh? And the next time you talk to my wife like that, you'll get worse. It isn't enough she slaves teaching your stupid kids how to read and write. You've got to bawl her out. You get out of here, Mr. Welch. You hit my best friend. You get out. All right, all right. Mr. Bailey, you okay?
Who was that?
Mr. Welch. But don't worry, he don't come in this place no more. I'll get something for your face. It's bleeding.
Oh, I'm all right.
Please don't go away, Mr. Bailey. Please don't.
Just leave me alone. Leave me alone.
George is headed to the bridge now, Clarence. Can you see him?
He looks like he's going to jump.
It's time, Clarence.
Excuse me? You there, have you got the time?
My watch is dead.
Thanks just the same. Help! Help me, I can't swim!
Oh, hold on, mister. I'm coming.
What in Sam Hill are the two of you doing? This storm's not fit for a man or a beast. Now get out of that water. Are you two all right? Do you need a doctor?
No, I'm all right.
No, I'm fine. This underwear, I didn't have time to get anything stylish. My wife gave me this on my last birthday. I passed away in it.
Passed away?
Oh, I see Tom Sawyer is trying out too.
Who?
My book. I left in such a hurry, I brought Tom Sawyer with me. You should read the new book Mark Twain is working on.
No, how did you happen to fall in?
Oh, I jumped in. I jumped in to save you.
You jumped in to save me?
Well, I did, didn't I? You didn't go through with it, did you?
Go through with what?
Suicide?
It's against the law to commit suicide around here.
Yeah, it's against the law where I come from, too.
Well, where do you come from?
Heaven.
What?
I had to act quickly. That's why I jumped in. I knew if I were drowning, you would try to save me, and you see, you did. And that's how I saved you.
That's very funny.
Your lips bleeding, George.
Yeah, I got bust in the jaw for an answer to my prayer.
Well, no, George. I'm the answer to your prayer.
How did you know my name?
Oh, I know all about you. I've watched you grow up from a little boy.
Oh, what are you, a mind reader or something?
No.
Then who are you then?
Clarence Oddbody, AS2.
AS Oddbody. Well, now what's the AS2?
Angel second class.
Hey, I'm getting out of here. You may not need a doctor, but I do.
Cheerio, my good man.
Now look here. Now, why would you want to save me?
Because I'm your guardian angel.
I wouldn't be a bit surprised.
Ridiculous of you to think of killing yourself for money. $8,000?
Yeah, just little things like that. Well, now, hey, how did you know that?
I told you, I'm your guardian angel. I know everything about you.
Oh, you look about the kind of angel I'd get. Sort of a fallen angel, aren't you? What happened to your wings?
I haven't won my wings yet. That's why I'm an angel second class.
Oh, I see.
But you can help me earn them, George, by letting me help you.
Well, you don't happen to have $8,000 on you, do you?
No, we don't use money in heaven.
That's right. Keep forgetting. Comes pretty handy down here, though, bub.
Oh.
Found it out a little late. I'm worth more dead than I am alive.
Now look, you mustn't say things like that. I won't get my wings with that attitude. You just don't know all that you've done. If it hadn't been for you...
Yeah, if it hadn't been for me, everybody would be a lot better off. My wife, my kids, my friends.
This isn't gonna be easy.
It'd all be better if I hadn't been born.
What did you say?
I said I wish I'd never been born.
George, that's wonderful.
Wonderful.
The idea you just gave me. Well, you've got your wish. You've never been born.
Never been born?
Exactly. No worries, no $8,000 to get. Nothing. You simply don't exist.
Well, now, hey, wait a minute. This bad ear. Say this something in this ear of mine.
You don't have a bad ear anymore. Don't you see? You're not the George Bailey you think you are. You're nobody.
That's a doggonest thing.
Your lips stopped bleeding too, George.
Oh, no, how about that? Well, what's happened? I need a drink. That's what I need. What about you, Angel? You want a drink?
Well, I don't know.
Oh, come on. Come on. We'll go as soon as our clothes are dry.
Our clothes are dry.
So they are. That's funny. Stove must be hotter than I thought. Well, look, let's get dressed and we'll stroll over to Martini's. And, excuse me. I'll stroll, you fly.
I haven't got my wings.
Oh, you haven't got your wings. That's right. Couple of drinks and we'll both be flying. Now there's a place to sit down. Let's go sit down over there, Clarence. Hello, Nick. Clarence, welcome to the best bar in Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls? Don't you mean Pottersville?
Pottersville? Hey, where's Martini?
Look, I'm the boss. You want a drink or don't you?
Okay, all right. Just a double bourbon. Quick, huh?
Okay. What's yours, bub?
I was just thinking of mulled wine.
Huh?
Heavy on the cinnamon and light on the cloves. Off with you, my lad, and lively now.
Hey, look, mister. We serve hard drinks in here for men who want to get drunk fast. And we don't need any characters around to give the joint atmosphere.
Now, come on here. Just give him the same as I ordered. He's all right.
2 double bourbon.
Yeah. What about this place? It's all changed.
All of Bedford Falls has changed. You're having your wish, George. You've never been born. There'll be lots of things you've never seen before. Oh, good. Somebody's just made it.
Made what?
Every time you hear a bell ring, it means that some angel's just got his wings.
What did you say?
Look, Clarence. I think you better not talk about angels around here.
Don't they believe in angels?
Well, yes, they believe in angels, but you know, it's just when.
Well, then, why should people be surprised when they see one?
Huh?
Well, don't mind him, Nick. He just never grew up. How old are you anyway, Clarence?
293?
Oh, boy.
Next May.
That does it! Out you 2 pixies go. Through the door or out the window. I don't care. Go on and get.
Nick, now, where's Martini? Will you just
Stop asking about Martini. He ain't here. Well. Look who crawled out from under whatever hole he's been hiding in.
Hey, it's Mr. Gower.
Hey, you! Rummy! Didn't I tell you never to come panhandling around here again?
George, look.
Mr. Gower? Well, this is George Bailey. Don't you know me?
Will you buy me a drink, mister? Just one drink, mister.
Binky, throw the rummy out!
You got it.
Oh, no, no, please.
Oh, now, Nick, isn't that Mr. Gower, the druggist?
That rumhead spent 20 years in jail for poisoning some kid. If you know him, you must be a jailbird yourself. Binky, here's 2 more! Get him out of here!
You got it, boss.
Here, let me help you up. The snow is quite cold.
What was wrong with Mr. Gower?
Mr. Gower doesn't know you, George. You see, you weren't there to stop Gower from putting that poison into that prescription.
What do you mean I wasn't there? What are you, a hypnotist? Why am I seeing all these strange things?
Don't you understand? It's because you were never born.
If I wasn't born, then who am I?
You're nobody. You have no identity.
Oh, what do you mean I have no identity? My name is George Bailey.
There is no George Bailey. You have no papers, no cards, no driver's license, no 4F card, no insurance
pedals.
policy. What?
Zuzu's petals. Oh, my little girl. Some petals fell off of her flower, and I told her I'd fix it. So I stuck them here in my pocket, but they're gone too. Everything's gone.
But you've been given a great gift, George. The chance to see what the world would be like if you had never been born.
You're crazy. You're crazy as a bedbug, and you're driving me crazy too. Now look. I'm going home to my wife and family. You understand that? I'm going home alone.
You know the drill. Hands behind your back, sister.
Keep your hands off me. Why don't you bust somebody else for change?
Hey, officer. Where did the building and loan move to?
The building and what?
The Bailey Building and Loan. It was right up there.
They went out of business years ago. Now all that's left is this, burlesque house.
Not so fast, Copper. I know Potter.
Well, hey, Violet. Well, now, hey, listen. That's Violet Bick.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I know.
Well, I know that girl.
Who doesn't? Now get out of our way.
Taxi! Taxi! Oh, hey, Ernie. Ernie, take me home. I'm going off my nut out here.
Where do you live?
Oh, now, doggone it, Ernie. Don't you start pulling that stuff, too. You know where I live. 320 Sycamore. And step on it.
Okay. 320 Sycamore?
Yes. Now hurry up. Zuzu's sick.
All right.
Look here, Ernie. Now, you gotta straighten me out. I've had some bad liquor or something. Now, just listen to me. Now, you're Ernie Bishop, right? And you live in Bailey Park with your wife and kid. That's right, isn't it?
You seen my wife?
Seen your wife? I've been to your house 100 times, man.
Look, Bud, what's the idea? I live in a shack in Potter's Field, and my wife ran away 3 years ago and took the kid, and I ain't never seen you before in my life.
Okay. Just step on it. Just get me home, all right?
Is this the place?
Of course it's the place.
Well, this house ain't been lived in for 20 years.
Mary! I'm home! Pete, Tommy, Janie, Zuzu. Where are you?
They're not here, George. You have no children.
Where are they, Clarence? What have you done with them?
All right, put your hands up.
Oh, what is this?
No fast moves. Come on out here, both of you.
Oh, Bert, thank heaven you're here. But Bert, what's happened to this house? Where's Mary? Where are my kids?
Watch him, Bert!
Come on. I'm going to take you down to the station.
No, Bert, now listen to me. Well, that fellow there, he says he's an angel. He's trying to hypnotize me.
Don't make me use my nightstick.
Now, Bert, I hate to do this, but...
Run, George! Run!
Ma Bailey's boarding house.
Well,
Mother?
Mother, what do you want?
Mother, this is George. I thought for sure you'd remember me.
George who? If you're looking for a room, there's no vacancy.
Well, Mother, please try to understand. Well, something's happened to me. I don't know what it is, but I need a place to stay. Please let me stay here tonight.
I don't take in strangers.
Well, I'm not a stranger. I know everybody you know. Your brother-in-law, Uncle Billy.
You know him?
Sure I do.
When'd you see him last?
Well, today, over at his house.
That's a lie. He's been in the insane asylum ever since he lost his business. And if you ask me, that's where you belong.
Mother.
I'm here again, George.
My mother. My own mother didn't even know me.
Strange, isn't it? One man's life touches so many others. And when he isn't around, he leaves a pretty big hole, doesn't he?
Now look, you. I've heard of things like this before. You got me under some kind of spell. Well, I'm gonna get out of it. I've got to. Well, now I talked to Billy this afternoon. How can he be in an asylum? I've got to snap out of this. Now let me think just a minute. Oh, Bailey Park.
There is no Bailey Park if you weren't here to build it.
Well, we'll see.
This is Bailey Park? People live here? Pretty grim.
This is where Bailey Park is supposed to be. Now, what's this gravestone doing here? And why is the name Bailey on it?
That wouldn't be yours.
My father's name is on it, but... Oh, now, what's this other name? Oh, why is my brother Harry's name on there?
Your brother broke through the ice and drowned at the age of 9.
That's a lie. Harry went to war. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor, and he saved the lives of every man on that transport.
Every man in that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. You see, George, you really had a wonderful life. Don't you see what a mistake it would be to throw it away?
What do I do now, Clarence? What do I do?
It's your life, George.
What happened to Mary, Clarence?
Mary?
My wife, Mary. What happened to her if I was never born?
I'm not supposed to tell you, George.
Where is she, Clarence? I don't know how you know the things that you do. But please, if you know where she is, just let me see her. That's all I need to make a decision.
Okay, George, but you're not going to like it.
Where is she, Clarence?
She's an old maid, George.
Where is she?
She's just about to close up the library. There must be some easier way to earn my wings.
Is the library closed?
It's Christmas Eve. We can't stay open all night.
Could I ask you something?
I really should be getting home.
What's there to go home to?
That's none of your business, sir. The library is closed. Maybe you should try back on the 26th.
Mary, I'm sorry.
How do you know my name?
Well, listen, all I need is a couple of minutes.
I told you the library is closed.
Please, just 2 minutes. That's all I need. I'll do anything.
You sound desperate. I'll help if I can. What is it?
Well, now, isn't this the town of Bedford Falls?
Well, it used to be. That was some time ago. I wasn't very old when Potter was elected and took the town along with its name for himself.
So you do know of a place called Bedford Falls?
Well, I've seen it in pictures, and it looked like a very nice place. But things have changed. That's with the times. I have to be going.
Mary Hatch, you live on Reed Street, a white Victorian. Your bedroom is at the top of the stairs, and you turn to the left. You have an older brother, Marty, and you live with your mother. Isn't that correct?
How do you know all this? What are you, some kind of crazy man? Stop it, I'm leaving.
Oh, don't you know me, Mary? Just let me touch you. Just
Get your hands off me.
No, well, but the house you wish for, don't you remember?
I told you I don't know you. Let me go, officer.
Well, don't you know me? You must marry. Mary, it's George. Don't you know me?
Let me
Mary,
go.
Mary, please. Please don't do this to me. Please, Mary. Well, help me. Where are our kids?
Or what?
I need you, Mary. Help me.
Get away from me. Help! Help, police!
Mary, it's George. Please, Mary. Mary, you're my wife. Clarence. Clarence, where are you? Help me, Clarence. Give me back. I don't care what happens to me. Just get me back to my wife and kid. Help me, Clarence, please. Please. I want to live again. Oh, God, Clarence, please help me.
George? Is that you, George?
No, you get out of here, Bert. You get out of here. You come any closer and I'll hit you again.
What the Sam Hill are you yelling for, George?
Come on now. George. Bert, do you know me?
Know you? I've been looking all over town for you. Where have you been?
Bert, I'm alive again, Bert.
You sure you're all right? Hey, your mouth's bleeding.
Oh, so it is. Oh, my mouth's bleeding. Bert, would you look at the blood come out of there? Zuzu's petals. There they are. What do you know about that? Merry Christmas, Bert.
Well, Merry Christmas. Get in the car and I'll drive you home.
You will, Bert? We'll do that. And turn the siren wide open. Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. Merry Christmas, your wonderful old building and loan. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. Yippee! Oh, Mary, I'm home. Mary, have you seen my what? Now, what are all these reporters doing here? Merry Christmas, reporters!
Mr. Bailey, there's a deficit.
I know. An $8,000 one, I bet, huh?
George, I've got a little paper here.
And I bet it's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? Merry Christmas! Hey, oh no, where's Mary? Oh, you know, well, look at this wonderful old drafty house. Isn't it wonderful? Where's Mary?
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Merry Christmas, Daddy.
Oh, Pete, Janie, Tommy, I could eat you up. Where's your mother?
She went looking for you with Uncle Billy. Daddy!
Oh, Zuzu, my little ginger snap, how do you feel?
Fine, Daddy. Not a smidge of temperature.
Oh, not a smidge. Hallelujah.
George, darling.
It's Mommy. Mommy's home.
Mary.
Oh, George, where have you been? Oh,
Mary.
George.
Just let me touch you. Oh, you're real.
Oh, George.
You have no idea what's happened to me.
And you have no idea what's happened either. Come on, George, quick. They're on their way.
Who's on their way? The police department, the FBI, the National Guard. Oh, I'm alive, Mary. Oh, I'm alive. Listen again. I'm alive, Mary.
Well, come on in here now. Now you stand right over here by the tree, right here, and don't move. Don't move. Oh, I can hear them now, George. It's a miracle. It's a miracle. Come in, Uncle Billy. Everybody in here.
Now what's all this?
Isn't it wonderful?
Mary did it, George. Mary did it. She told a few people you were in trouble, and they scattered all over town collecting money. They didn't ask any questions, just said, if George is in trouble, you can count on me. You never saw anything like it.
What is this, George? Another run on the bank? Here you are. Merry Christmas.
The line forms to the right, Mr. Gower. Merry Christmas. Mr. Martini, step right up now.
I busted the jukebox, too.
Oh, Mr. Gower.
I made the rounds on my charge accounts.
Oh, Violent Bick.
I'm not going to go, George. I changed my mind.
I wouldn't have a roof over my head if it wasn't for you, George. Here you go, $242.
I've been saving this money for a divorce if I ever get a husband. Merry Christmas, George.
Merry Christmas, Mother.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Huh? Just a minute. Hold on, everybody. Hold on. A telegram from London.
Oh, London.
Mr. Gower cables you need cash. Stop. My office instructed to advance you up to $25,000. Stop. Hee-haw and Merry Christmas. Sam Wainwright.
Hello, George. How are you?
Harry! Harry!
Harry!
Looks like I got here too late. It's me. Mary, I got him here from the airport as quickly as I could. The fool flew all the way up here in a blizzard.
Harry, how about your banquet in Washington?
Oh, I left right in the middle of it as soon as I got Mary's telegram.
How about some wine?
Good idea. A toast. To my big brother George, the richest man in town.
What's this book, George?
Tom Sawyer.
Look, there's an inscription.
George, remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings. Love, Clarence.
Well, what's that?
It's a Christmas present from a very dear friend of mine.
Look, Daddy. Teacher says every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
That's right, darling. Attaboy, Clarence.
This has been WBFR Playhouse of the Air's presentation of It's a Wonderful Life. The WBFR Playhouse is brought to you this and every week by Bremo Hair Tonic and Duck's Toilet Cake. Please stay tuned for a program of popular holiday music. This is Freddie Fillmore signing off for WBFR in New York City and wishing you and yours a very Merry Christmas. Good night.
Very well done, everybody. You want to turn your screens back on? Yay!
Clap, clap, clap.
Yay! It's like really like it's a whole different kind of like feeling when George Bailey's like left alone after Clarence.
Alex, we can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I can't hear you.
I can.
I can hear.
Oh.
Okay.
It's
Well,
you,
hopefully
Ethan.
okay.
You're
Yeah.
over here.
It's like a whole different feeling when George Bailey's like left alone on screen. Everybody turns off their video.
Mhm.
Hilarious. All right. Well, I want to say goodbye to everybody. Yep, I know some of you can't hear me, but most of the others can.
Can y'all hear him?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully the stream can.
Doesn't matter.
Okay, so we're going to say goodbye. Thank you, everybody, for being here tonight and giving your time. We really appreciate it. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good evening. I'll see you backstage in the green room. Bye. To those who can't hear me, bye. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching our performance of It's a Wonderful Life this evening. Thank you to those who donated. We'll be back Tuesday night at 8 p.m. with John Baines. It's going to be a ton of fun. Make sure you tune in for it. I hope you all have a great start to your week tomorrow and have a great rest of your evening. Thanks for tuning in.